Credit is king in today's society. It is very important that you learn how to manage your credit, how to have a high credit score, because if you don't, that is going to impact you financially and it will limit you in a lot of ways. I was able to achieve an excellent credit score by the age of 21, and I'm going to share some of the tips and tricks that I've learned on the way to be able to achieve this. What is going on? Welcome to the Flaming Profits YouTube channel, where we teach you how to become a more profitable investor in the stock market. We teach you everything you need to know to be able to make, keep, and multiply your own money. This is a skill that you have to learn in order for you to live financially well. Whether or not you choose to ignore it, we know that this world revolves around money, so it is essential that you master it. And that is what this channel is dedicated towards, so make sure you subscribe. That way you do not miss out any of our amazing videos coming your way. And if you want some free stocks, WeBull and Robinhood both give you free stocks. I'll have the links in the description down below. M1 Finance gives you $10. This is an amazing brokerage that I highly recommend for new investors. And then my favorite, the $50 sign-up bonus for the Discovered Secure credit card. This helped me a lot to improve my credit score, so I highly recommend it, and you'll get $50. So why is credit such a big deal? Why is everybody talking about credit and credit score? The reason why people talk a lot about credit scores, it is because whenever you do not have the money to be able to buy, for example, a car or a house, most of the time they're always going to check your credit score. And this is going to basically tell them how trustworthy you are for a loan. And they're always going to check this, so it's essential that you learn how to have a very high credit score. Whenever you have a higher credit score, they're going to charge you less interest. So another person, because of their bad credit score, they're going to have to pay more in the monthly bill for that car or house, versus you, if you have a higher credit score, you'll pay less for the cost of the loan than the other person. That is why it's important for you to have the highest credit score that you can. So you might be wondering, what if I don't want to get a loan? Or what if I don't want to worry about credit scores? I'll just pay for everything in cash. So you might be thinking that now, but as you get more experience with life and financial decisions, you'll quickly realize that nowadays, loans are a part of life. And eventually you're gonna have to deal with some sort of loan, whether you're getting your first home or you're getting a car, a reliable car that you might not be able to afford. So it's important just to have as a backup. That is why it's important for you to learn this and start implementing now rather than having to worry about it later. This is an app that's called Credit Karma. You can download it on iOS or Android, and it's gonna tell you your credit score very fast and without a charge. And you can check this anytime that you want. It gives you two credit scores. One is an Equifax and the other one is a TransUnion. What these two companies are, they basically dedicate themselves to calculate the credit score for you. There's a third credit bureau, but these are the two main ones that you want to take a look at. And keep in mind that just because the Credit Karma app says you have a certain score, whenever the bank actually pulls your credit score, it might be a little bit different. It might be higher or a little bit lower, but it should still give you an accurate view on how your credit is going and what your credit score is more than likely is at the moment. So right now I have a 765 credit score, which is considered excellent credit. So anytime you have excellent credit, you're basically gonna get the best interest rate that the lender can offer you. So it doesn't matter if you have an 850 or 800. Just because you're in the excellent credit, you're automatically going to get the best interest rate that the lender can offer you. Alright, so let's get to business. The first part of credit scores, how they're calculated, is based from the payment history. So let me just tell you this. If you're gonna have credit cards, you better be paying them on time, because this is an essential factor that credit scores are calculated from. You have to have 100% on-time payments, and if you don't, you need to start doing that. basically any payment needs to be made before the due date so that it's considered on time. And as you can see here, I've made 119 consecutive credit card payments on time without missing one. And that's why I have 100% no issues whatsoever with this category here. So it's very simple, just pay on time. If you can't afford it, if you don't have the money in your checking account before you make the purchase, then don't make the purchase. Even if you think a paycheck is coming, because one day this will fail you and you will end up with a missed payment, which will impact your credit score. Alright, so now that we got payment history out of the way, next we have credit card utilization. So this is a percentage that is calculated based on how much credit line you have versus how much you're using. And basically, the lower amount you're using, the better. So you want to use less than 5% of your credit line. So right now, my total balance that's due is $547, and my total limit is $32,000. So you realize how small $500 is versus what I have available, which is $32,000 credit limit. That's why you have to have a low credit utilization rate, because that's gonna make it seem like you don't really need the credit that much, and this is gonna look good towards lenders because they're gonna realize that you have a lot of money, you have a lot of assets, so you don't really need a lot of credit. And this shows that you're responsible because you never use too much of your available credit. I know it sounds kind of dumb sometimes, because if you can pay it off in time, then it shouldn't impact your score, but these are just the rules, so just stick to them and follow them. So just keep it below 5%. Don't use too much of your credit, of your available credit. So next we have any hard inquiries. So next area is derogatory marks. Derogatory marks. There we go. So anytime you have any issues with owing money, it's gonna show up here. So a derogatory mark is basically whenever a lender let you borrow money and you are missing payments or haven't paid them back, a debt that you might have. I hope you realize that having derogatory marks can significantly impact this area and affect your credit score. But basically, anytime you have any derogatory marks, make sure you dispute that. Make sure you call whoever you owe money to. It'll show you here, but you have to do your own research and finding out who that is and talk to them so that you pay off the debt. That way you have 0 derogatory marks, and when you have 0, you have the highest potential to have the highest credit score that you can. So it's very important that you get this down to 0 like I do here. Alright, so next we have age of credit history. Unfortunately for this category, it is something that you can't really change that much. It's not really up to you. It's based on when you started using credit and how many years the average age of your credit cards are. But there is a trick that you can do. So I do have the oldest account here, 15 years, and my newest account, 1 month, for an average age of 3 years. So if I'm only 21, how do I have an oldest account for 15 years? Did I get one when I was like 5 years old? No. So there's a trick that you can do with credit, and you basically do this. So you find someone, whether it's a relative, preferably a relative, a parent, an uncle, an aunt, someone who is close to you, who has excellent credit score. And all you have to do is ask them, hey, I know you've been doing great with credit. I was wondering if you could add me to your credit card as an authorized user. And if they're okay with that, basically all they have to do is add you as an authorized user for the credit card. And this will basically cause their credit score to reflect on you. So the credit history they have, it's going to be applied to you. So any good credits that they have, or whatever their credit score is, more than likely it's going to impact your credit account and basically going to give you a good credit score if they have excellent credit score. So any history or any cards they add you to, it's going to reflect on your performance here for your credit score. So this is what I did. That's why I have an account that's 15 years old. Keep in mind that every single time you apply to a new credit card, it will lower your average score here, or the average age of your credit history. That's why mine is significantly lower than 15 years, because I've been applying to new ones. But through time, it is going to get a lot better. and it's gonna help me out a lot. Just by having the 15 years, that already helps me a lot. So that's something, a trick that you can do to improve your credit history and also your credit card utilization. The next section here is total accounts. Basically, the more accounts you have opened in terms of credit card usage, the better. And these are just credit cards. I don't know why my mortgage doesn't show up here, but maybe it will eventually. But right now it's just credit cards. So yeah, the more you have open, the better. Never close any credit cards. Keep them open as long as they're not charging you an annual fee, because the more you have, the better it is for your credit score. So right now I have about 7. The last factor of your credit score is hard inquiries. And this one's the least important. It doesn't really matter that much, because hard inquiries, what it is every time you apply for a new mortgage, or anytime anyone looks up your credit score from like an official place, it's gonna show up here, and this is gonna lower your credit score by like 20-30 points. But once it's removed from your hard inquiries, which normally it happens every year, so it stays here for a year, but after a year they get removed from here, and once it gets removed, it's gonna make your credit score go up. So I wouldn't really worry about that. But yeah, those are the 5 factors that compose your credit score. Oops, be right back, my pizza's here. So before I end the video, I do want to share this article with you just to give you some quick 5 tips on how to have an excellent credit score. So number 1, as I mentioned, always pay on time, always. It doesn't matter what you do, but you need to be paying on time always. Number 2, optimize your credit utilization ratio. The more credit limit you have, the better, because that means you can use more credit without it being a significant portion of your overall available credit. So don't use too much, but try to get higher increases on your credit limit every single time. That way you can have a lower utilization. Third is regularly monitor your credit score for inaccuracies. So that's why you have to be using the Credit Karma app. Make sure you check it at least once a month. That way you can see if everything's accurate. If there's anything that's in your hard inquiries, or anything, any credit card that you never have, or any debts that you might owe, make sure you quickly figure out what's going on, because you definitely do not want anything wrong in your credit report, because it will affect you. Number 4, be strategic about taking on new debt and closing accounts. So yeah, just make sure you manage your debts. Don't have too many, because that will affect you. And don't close any accounts unless they're charging you an annual fee, because every time you close an account, that's going to make your overall credit limit lower, and you're going to be using less credit or have available credit. So it's important for you to keep them open. Number 5 is consider your credit mix. So I didn't really touch on this, but don't just have credit cards. Have different types of credit mixes, like mortgages, car loans, student loans, credit card debt. Anything that's different is better. You need to have a variety, but don't get debts just to improve your credit score. That is definitely not the way to go. Just take it on as life brings you the opportunities where you need to use some sort of credit line. Alright, so there we go, subscribers. That is basically all you need to know in order to achieve a high, excellent credit score. I hope that you learned a lot from this video, and if you have any tips for me or any comments or questions regarding credit, I will be more than happy to answer them for you. Just leave me a comment down below. I really appreciate all of your support, so make sure you give me a like on this video and also subscribe to the Flaming Profits YouTube channel. I'll see all of you in the next one. Peace.